asked me to create some continual flame items for him for tomorrow for I guess prisoners that are here.
Oh,
I
that
can
would
only
be
assume they.
a splendid way to help out. There
I
are
only
strange
assume.
creatures that the soldiers of the Duke have captured. Creatures that,
Shadow creatures.
yes.
Yes, we've run into them before. As gladiators, we fought one in a ring before.
Ah,
You're familiar with them. Well, somewhat familiar.
he nods.
If that is what they're bringing in, then yes, light. Be a very useful way to contain them.
They are called Shadowkin, or Fetchlings, I believe. Not since the time of the Shadow Wars have we seen these creatures.
I assume this is what's been.
Not since the reign of, Duke what's-his-name. He thinks for a moment. A dreadful Duke. A Haramil. Some of us suspected that these creatures did linger for a time in a northern realm. The shadowy influence over Tebron has been strong. There were rumors during the time of Duke Haramil that even his own servants and soldiers feared him, and that all were relieved when they finally buried him in his crypt. Wars in the north have not gone very well for the Imperium. An entire Imperial royal family. No, they were related to royals, noble. An entire noble family from off-world is buried in a crypt in the north of here.
Really?
Yes, they failed during the Shadow War and were punished. Punished. While they had aims of trying to pacify the region, apparently one of their number dreamed of becoming king of Tebronia, and thus condemned his entire family in damnatio in the eyes of the Church as well as the Imperium. What the Imperials did to such failure, and for such dreadful act of trying to become kings, as the undying emperor suffers no king, was that all the family members of this family, both living and dead, this was a clan, so I believe there were 3 families, were all locked away in the crypt on the edge of Tebronia, the land that they failed to quell, the land that they let slip from their fingers during a time of rebellion, and a land that Bartholomew Adela wished to become king of. Well, all this is ancient history at this point. But it is through these lands that the Imperials from the Duchy of Vaid march. And it is quite curious that things from the past seem to be dragged up.
I fear for our friends that have departed, looking for, well,
The Imperium fought something fierce there. These creatures of shadow are no friend to the elves, and nor are they friends to the Imperium. In this, at least, we see eye to eye. Of course, the devil is in the details, and the execution of such plans to defeat such an enemy, well, in those regards, the elves and the Imperium definitely did not see eye to eye. But we're not eye to eye with the Imperium anymore. We are their servants. We're sort of looking at their belly buttons, actually.
That's where I'm always at.
He looks human. He's speaking of we like he's an elf.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Thank you for the paperwork.
Yes, do check in with your friends who've gone to Belheim. I am excited to finally see Zero once again, to hear what she has discovered.
I will be...
What she has found out. To see if she's recovered what the enemy has stolen.
I will be communicating with them tomorrow to find out more about their findings.
Yes. What did they steal from that poor old gnome woman?
Who?
An old colleague of Zira's. A very intelligent old gnome woman by the name of Bassie.
Bassie.
Okay. The years have not been kind to her. She is in her dotage, as you'd say. She is a professor of many things, and a philomath mystic of very high rank. They stole something from her. Unfortunately, there were so many documents. It's hard to get a straight answer from Bassie. It would help much to understand what it is that caused our enemy to raise its head after all these years. Why? Why resurface? Are the walls down? Don't know.
It's a very good question. I'll ask it. Hopefully I'll get an answer.
Yes. Well, all these soldiers are from the Duke's army. There's some excitement as some important people were injured.
That's unfortunate.
Yes.
You mean Damian was asking me earlier about removing a curse? A shadow curse.
Your little devil of a lawyer. I heard what he tried to do to win his case. Dastardly man, that one.
Someone's been injured with... Oh, yes, Damian. Damian is quite conniving, but he's also extremely useful.
He tried to do anything. He did.
He's very good at what he does, I must say.
Yes.
Has from what you're saying and what he's saying, someone famous, someone well known has been injured and cursed by shadow magic.
Yes, he says. Apparently there are no secrets that are kept amongst you and your Ludus.
No, just put it together, really. He didn't tell me. Well,
with your light,
wish.
is there any way that you could do something? We do have a local priest having a look at the Duke at the moment. He looks at you like he's waiting to see if you knew it was the Duke.
The Duke?
Yes.
Oh.
Unfortunately, he fell into some... Apparently, for whatever insane reason, the Duke was stomping around the crypt of... well, the Duke of Tebronia, before it was made into a protectorate. Before the Empire decided that that land was dangerous enough that they would oversee it directly.
Well,
He fell into the crypt, and, well, he came back with strange curse. Magic is very difficult to touch him. Apparently his archwizard, Duncan, required something like 15 or 16 teleports to simply get him back to here from his northern position.
I see. I shall ask
Duke,
about this.
The Duke was stationed at a northern base called the Citadel of Three Winds. It's on the edge of Tebronia, on the edge of the Darkling Wood to the north. The crypt is south of there. South? East. No, it's southwest.
Southwest of here.
We may have to, if this does not work, understand what it is that cursed him.
I'll request Widget to return. Perhaps he has learned something that might be of use.
They've only been gone for 10 days. They've only probably just arrived in Belheim. But
we'll contact them and see how I'll contact them and see how they've fared so far. I will ask regarding the...
Please be on hand. You may be called. I may require perhaps a second opinion, or a third opinion by this point.
If you wish me to spend some time looking at the Duke, I do not mind.
I will have to get permission first.
Of course. I shall be at my quarters if you do need to reach me.
Oh, apparently you'll also be serving this captain.
That's in the morrow.
Don't be afraid to let me know if the captain becomes too demanding.
Of course. I'll do what I can to help out in any way that I can. And I appreciate your offer. Thank you.
Is there anything else, Arlen? You notice that there's a line of people that are starting to,
Yeah.
to form
No,
outside.
I see that you're very busy, and I do hate being the cause of delays for anyone's days.
Will you and your gladiators be around for the season end games, or will you be heading back to Vaddapol? There is some disturbing business that we must attend to the season end games. We tend to put it off to the last moment, but there are many eyes upon Terraslene this year, and many of the eyes are actually here in Terraslene. We must keep up our end of the bargain. He's quite grave at this point.
Yeah.
Do any of your gladiators crave blood? Sport? There are a number of rebels that must meet their end. It would be a great favor to us if we did not have to have our own people execute each other at the end of the season.
Understood. I will. It's grim. Actually, I look at him. It's like, we need to speak in the room that you've made private.
No nonsense. This chamber is private. I would not conduct my business here. If you want those 6 guards to leave,
please.
He snaps his finger a couple times and the guards are dismissed. They march out into the alcoves and you have this wide open room. We have the room.
You must excuse me for my rudeness. What is your heritage?
What does that matter to you?
What is his holy symbol?
He doesn't have one.
Because he's a wizard.
Arlen's very torn about something.
Just assume he's an elf and half sea otter, and you'll be fine.
There was
Sea
there's,
otter.
Known for their
did,
intermingling with the elves.
the
There are many caretakers and rulers of Terraslene that had to rule over humankind. I have taken upon a guise. It is a magical one and a permanent one that allows me to appear more fitting when dealing with those of the Empire.
I apologize for that question again. The reason I asked is simply because we learned
Del
of some...
Nuanulu Felwatha. You have no idea what he said. It sounded elven, but you have no idea.
I'm sorry, I do not understand.
You have never learned High Elven.
I never got the chance.
We may have to rectify that if we find a few moments.
I would be pleased to do so. It would be my honor. We learned of something quite grave. That there are certain things in certain cities that feed on souls. Specifically gladiators. Those not following the Five-Face Code.
His face looks immediately 20 years older, and there's fear in his eyes. You should not speak any further of this, Arlen. He knows.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. He sort of sits back in his chair like he's stunned that you know. Damian,
Yep.
You wanted to go see the Duke? Or who's tending to the Duke?
Yes.
Okay. You find that the Duke has been sequestered in like perhaps the old bedchambers of the Cornel, or maybe some of his family. You do see the commander is actually stationed as a guard outside the Duke's chambers. Like he's. Where is his token? Where is his Punim? There he is.
If he dies, that would be very bad for that man.
Commander Yeviska Don Veyetti is standing there with a couple of other guards outside the chamber, and you can hear Duncan just berating some priest. Like, just yelling at some priest.
Do not quote me scripture! I want answers! I want to be able to heal that wound on the Duke! If the next word you speak is scripture, I shall send word to 3 archbishops and have you stationed in a shrine in the Arctic!
There's this red-headed priest of the Five-Faced God that's kind of bobbing out, and a bunch of acolytes in tow. Commander outside the door is like, he's making a woo face as he sees Damian. Damian helped him out when the Duke first arrived. He's also one that he seemed to be too chummy, like not very strict. Perhaps it's just hanging around a bunch of elves all day that made him this way. But he waves to you and just sort of kind of puts his hand up sort of out of the way, like to get you out of the way as a bunch of priests are coming out.
Yeah.
The door slams.
Damian salutes.
Oh, he salutes back.
Sir, I take it things are not going well.
No, there's a festering wound that we might have to actually apply medicine to. It's been stitched up, but it's might have some sort of pestilence in it. Decrepence? I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor.
Nor am I. However, I do know a healer.
I'm listening. We've tried 5 healers already. This last one decided to quote scripture out of the good book.
Yes, well...
The efficacy of such things was just like the others.
So, much as I like the good book myself, I believe this healer will simply try magic, and if not that, traditional medicine. If I can get permission. He is an elf. He's the Lannister of this Ludus I am traveling with.
Ah, yes, the
Arlen.
one in the chair. Yeah, I saw him apply his healing spells to his gladiators after the match.
Yes, and he...
What makes you think that he's going to succeed where Priest the Fife is God of not? I don't want to.
Well,
I don't want to suggest another failure.
I understand, but he is a priest of light, and seeing as we are dealing with shadow, perhaps he has something to counteract it.
Spoken like a lawyer. He knocks quietly.
Is what I am.
He knocks quietly at the door. Yes, what is it? Sir Duncan, Lieutenant Damian Van Impia has an idea. Red-faced Duncan comes out. Well, speak!
I'm in the company of a priest of light. Given that we are dealing with rather difficult shadow, perhaps a priest of light might be able to, no pun intended, illuminate the situation and deal with this particular curse.
I thought there were no more priests of Palor in this place.
He is not a priest of Palor. It's some obscure thing, but his healing is no less effective.
Obscure thing.
I'm not familiar with this light behind the light or thing behind whatever. It's some sea snake from what I hear.
So you want us to entrust a horrid priest of some god that you cannot name?
Or you can let the Duke die. It's entirely up to you, of course.
Lieutenant, did you say? Yes, Lieutenant Damian Van Imp. Van Imp. Very well.
Oh, my apologies, sir.
I believe that you have something for the Duke.
I do, however, the Duke has not been in a position to receive it as of yet.
Who do you think is going to be using the box?
Are you ordering me to give you the box, sir?
Yes, go and fetch this priest and get me the box.
He salutes and clips his heels together as he turns around.
Yep.
Box on.
He's like, I swear. He's fuming at all the failure, which is his failure too, you realize.
Yeah.
It's like, huh, all right. 15 teleports, huh? All right, you
Great. You want me to do what?
you end up finding Arlen.
Oh no, downhill. Brakes don't fail me now.
You ask around a little bit. You find Arlen.
Yep. Yep.
Arlen seems to be leaving the war room of the Imperial Custodian.
Come on, Arlen, start making up some scripture and start quoting it at him. Quote it loud, quote it proud. That'll scare the darkness away.
Hide from no one.
Oh, and there you are. He grabs your
Oh,
chair
hey, Dave.
and starts wheeling you right away without even asking.
Where are we
Yes,
off
and
to?
Oh, we'll have to see a very sick man. You have some healing on you, don't you?
It depends on the
Yeah.
type of sickness.
It's a festering wound covered in shadow.
Really?
Yes.
I'll do my best, but once I see it, I'll return tomorrow morning.
What, do you have no healing now?
Oh, of course I do, but once I see the type of wound it is, I would be more prepared tomorrow. But I need to see him. Bring me
that's
to
where
him.
we're going. Quit quibbling. Now, there's simple rules. No proselytizing, because that's
No
just going to
quoting.
get no quoting scripture.
It's all right. I have none.
Perfect. You're the best kind of priest.
Faster, Damian, faster!
Okay, grabbing the box, and you guys arrive at.
Yeah, grab the box here. Hold this.
Ooh, what's that curve is a little fast. Please slow down. Thank you.
You're on the other side.
Arlen's bouncing.
We get him there quickly.
Okay. Ah, that guy looks really.
Question, Arlen. Do you think actual physical, if we took this literally, an actual physical light, would it do anything?
Oh, what is he looking at? What's Damian looking at?
He's not looking at anything. He's talking to you on the way.
You mean like a torch?
Like a torch,
Sure, yeah.
a daylight spell. The
Wouldn't
sun.
hurt. Wouldn't hurt. I would suggest bringing him to a place of light, not keeping him in a dark area, of course.
All right. Then.
Unless the light is causing him pain or injuring him further.
I doubt anything's going to injure him further.
All right.
I mean, unless someone stabs him, of course. But who would do such a thing?
Anybody likes stabbing people?
All right, Duncan, Albright, and Commander Yevisk are basically standing outside. This time, when you arrive, Duncan is the one that's pacing back and forth. The doors are closed. You could see that there are a number of guards, as well as look like well-behaved priests that are waiting just outside of the room where the Duke has been sequestered.
Damian? Is this
Lieutenant.
where I'm supposed to be?
Is this the priest of some strange deity? And he looks you over.
Yes, this is Arlen, the light bringer.
Light
Greetings. I'm sorry for the news. I'm here to serve as any way that I can.
What deity do you call out to? Which deity gives you your powers? I'm assuming an old god.
I'm not entirely sure. The source behind the light.
He looks at you. I don't have time for your games, elf. Tell me the name of your deity now, or you'll find yourself in chains.
That is the name that I was told. I know of no other name for my deity other than the source behind the light.
Dangerous,
I apologize.
dangerous blasphemy is what he says to Damian.
Perhaps, sir, but it may be the Duke's only chance.
Give me a diplomacy check. Arlen, you can aid.
You auto-aid, don't you?
Yeah. My diplomats.
DC is
Oh,
30.
Fox.
38.
Oh, damn, son. That's the kind of roll I need.
Wait here. He goes in, he knocks softly, and then walks in, and you can hear someone praying, like very quietly, a male voice. The door closes. There's a muffled conversation. Coming back out. This guy is wearing Archbishop robes. Damian realizes that he could have petitioned perhaps the local archbishop, whom I guess he didn't know at the time. Of course, you knew Archbishop of Vade better, but yeah, you're now piecing together the protectorate.
Plus, he didn't want to raise a ruckus here. He wanted the ruckus to be behind him.
Yep. Duncan steps forward. And who might this be? Says the Archbishop. This is... Commander steps in. This is Lieutenant Damian Van Imp. He's a lawyer as well as a gladiator that serves the Duke from Vaddapol.
Damian gives a deep bow.
The Archbishop pauses for a moment. Ah, a devout follower of Cantamba, are we?
Yes, sir. Though, to be perfectly frank, my attendance at church has been rather lax as of late. Something I intend to remedy when I return.
Perhaps you and I could pray together later.
I would be most grateful, sir.
Give me a sense motive.
Arlen's like, I don't think Damian's ever prayed.
No, he's not a religious guy. 38?
Ooh. This guy is pissed off at you. He knows who you are by your name.
Okay.
Damian knows why he might be...
Damian knows. Damian, good thing Damian took glibness for his 3rd level spell at this level.
Unfortunately, the condition still rages. I will have some of my surgeons apply their medicine to the wound, although it also looks like it was magically created. Most dreadful. And your magic? The Archbishop slowly nods no, like he doesn't want to admit in front of everyone. Well, Damian Van Imp, Lieutenant, has an idea. Duncan steps over. This is a priest. Priest of the old god, by the look of it. I wouldn't be so sure. Tell him.
I pray to the source behind the light.
What nonsense does that mean? Speak his name.
That is the only name I know for my god.
It sounds like an ancient subsect of the Pellerin religion, says Duncan. Still, old god blasphemy. Why should we entrust you to cast spells upon our Duke?
Well, I mean your Duke no harm. That, and I was informed that it's some sort of shadow. I abhor shadow. If I can remove it, I will do my best. This magic should not be.
The Archbishop kind of looks at Damian. He seems to be searching for something in Damian's expression.
Whether you... No matter how you feel about the old gods, in this particular instance, there's no doubt the goal is the same, is to remedy the Duke's illness.
Barking street people. No, they're like right out my door barking at the door. All right.
So you mean the people themselves barking, or do they have friends that are barking?
No, the people themselves are barking.
Okay.
Arlen asks, who has examined may I ask who has examined the Duke, and can I speak with him to find out what they have learned?
Arlen, everyone's examined the Duke.
All right.
Duncan gives nods at that and gives a shrug to the Archbishop. We have had lots of people look under my supervision.
I'll do my best.
They're about to wheel Arlen in.
Don't let the Duke die the next 10 minutes.
The Archbishop basically sticks his foot in front of your wheel, kind of like his leg, to stop you. He leans in. If anything should happen to this Duke, I will raise an inquisition against whatever faith you belong.
I mean him no ill will. You can make a sense motive if you want. No ill will meant by Arlen.
Okay, he rolls a 37 on his intimidate check. For the next little while, you're shaken.
Do your check at a -2 because you're scared of people.
Oh, really?
This guy apparently has the power and is willing to be that ruthless. He does not he does not care about your heathen religion.
It's a funny religion though, because I don't know if Arlen knows a single other person who worships it. So an inquisition would be really short.
Be like, yeah, go
or
ahead.
really long because they don't know where to fuck to
Go ahead. I was like, yeah, go ahead, buddy. Inquisition away, my friend.
Okay. It seems like a grand threat, but you realize that your life will be bad if anything happens. The Duke has been stripped out of his armor. He does have a wound in his side, on his left side, that looks like he's been punctured by something. The wound itself is flaking, and the edge of the skin is moving. Like something has magically cauterized, but is still swirling and causing him pain. He's sort of groaning on the sickbed.
How much light is here?
There's a few.
Damian's casting dancing lights.
Yeah, there's a few torches. There's light from a fireplace. It's really
Damian's
warm in here.
casting
They seem to be trying to sweat him out.
Damian casts dancing lights right above the bed.
Okay,
so
there's a nice
shining
soft
down on the Duke.
The heat is not helping. This is not a sickness of the body. He's still gonna do a heal check.
Yeah, go ahead.
Heal check, knowledge arcana.
What are you looking at first?
So I'm gonna put detect magic on him.
Okay, give me a caster level check.
Okay. D20 plus. What am I, 8th? I think I'm only 8th. Up. -2. 17.
Okay, there's no magic coming off of the Duke.
Do I know if this worked or not?
Yeah, you detect magic on...
Like, is it
Damian?
working?
Yep.
Okay, so, is his... You mean it's, like, flaking off, like the skin is dying and falling off?
It looks like... you know how embers in a fire kind of, like, move a little bit? That's the edge of the wound, and if you're pretty sure if you position your head right, you'd see right through his wound. It's it's like some sort of spear or...
Does it look like
stake.
anything from the shadow?
It's black. The edge of the wound is black, and it's flicking around. That should be magic, and you are not detecting it.
What caused this wound?
There are a bunch of blank stares. Duncan finally speaks up. He fell into a chamber. I believe he punctured himself upon a spear or trap.
Did you retrieve this trap at all? Or anything?
No, we did not find the Duke where he fell. He was seized by creatures. We battled our way inside and recovered the Duke.
I understand. What happened? Where did you find him? What did they do to him?
His eyes are wide and sort of looking at you.
I'll look at his eyes.
His eyes are like swirling black where they should be white. They put me into the cradle.
Okay. The cradle.
Arlen,
Yes?
let me know when you're ready to cast.
Pitch black. Like
This... Go ahead. Take his temperature, heart rate.
Okay, well, you touch him. He is very cold.
Ooh.
His heart rate is racing.
Heart rate racing. Heart rate racing. Temperature low. It's not good. Arlen's gonna try something. This is not a cast. This is just what my god allows me to do. So I have the sun domain.
The Archbishop is watching you closely.
This is the sun domain, Nimbus of Light. I want to see if this works or if this does something, because there's something here. It says, it says it does stuff to undead creatures, spells and spell-like abilities with the darkness descriptor are automatically dispelled if brought inside the Nimbus. Can you look? I don't know if that's going to do anything.
Yeah, give me a second. Something is loading. I want to read it.
Yeah. If he dies, I'm teleporting the fuck out of here. Sorry, Damian.
Take me with you. Take me with you, please.
My OneNote is taking forever to load. Trident Circus. We want to look at Arlen.
Sun domain.
Nimbus of Light. Supernatural. Interesting. Spells and spell-like abilities with the darkness descriptor. Okay.
Nice.
Let me have a look at something.
Yep.
Where is my DM book?
Arlen starts asking, like, do you have a sample of his blood? What does it look like since you brought him in? What does it look like? No, he's not even there. Okay, well, I'll talk to the stream anyways. So he starts looking at his blood before, his blood after, if they have that. So Marty, Arlen asks for, like, samples of his blood, if they've taken any.
They are really suspicious about that. They don't want to give you any of that.
Okay. Arlen is afraid that if he does use the light, he might kill him out of shock. So he's gonna try to do part of his his foot or something. Open the door, back up, and try that, and then move in slowly to see how he reacts to it.
Okay. I do not think Shadow Weave magic gives spells the darkness descriptor.
No, there's an umbral spell. There's a metamagic feat to do that.
I do have to look, though, because this is a really interesting... Because umbral spell could be the Pathfinder version of what we're trying to do.
Either way,
Sorry, it's...
bonus points to Ahmed for thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
And it's supernatural, too. That's the part that has me excited, because...
Tenebrous spell is the Pathfinder name of that feat.
You cannot use this feat with spells with a light descriptor. A tenebrous spell uses a spell slot, blah, 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 except in cases where darkness or shadow descriptor sub-school. So it enhances things with that descriptor. It does not. Okay, now we need to check the spells that he has. Okay, or the effect that is going. Okay. Nice. So your nimbus of light goes off. There's a very bright light in the room. You notice that this seems to cause the Duke pain.
Okay. What happens to the wound?
The wound is still there.
Okay. Can I channel while I'm doing this?
In the same round that you're doing it, so you could use a quick channel to do it, to burn 2 channels.
Yep.
You notice that for a brief moment the wound started to close, but whatever this dark flesh effect is, it begins to open up the wound again. Arlen, after looking at this, give me a heal check.
Okay. Thank you.
Gotta be the closest any of these fuckers have gotten to healing the damn thing. Healed for a second.
-2, right?
No, by this point you've bolstered yourself by using powers of your god.
Okay. 30.
The wound is cursed.
That's why it's not closing.
The wound is cursed. There's a 20 hit point wound that is not closing up.
But what about what's causing his eyes to go black?
That you don't know. There may be a separate thing that is operating on him.
Does anyone here have the ability to do true seeing?
Looking at the Archbishop.
Damian, could you check maybe the custodian?
Give me a perception check.
Perception check. Okay. $29.
When you Nimbus of Light him,
Yeah.
He didn't cast a shadow.
He doesn't have a shadow?
He doesn't have a shadow. Everyone else had this really, really dark shadow from your great Nimbus. It also happened when you pulsed your healing magic. There was no shadow.
Okay, knowledge arcana, knowledge nature, knowledge planes?
Knowledge planes.
$14.
Shadow magic is bad. It could have something to do with
Flop that one, huh?
the shadow plane.
What are you seeing, Arlen?
Damian, his shadow doesn't exist. Look,
You mean shit?
he'll
Okay,
do the-
I'm gonna
look
take
for-
20 and get 29.
Look at his shadow.
Yeah, you're now moving your light down, and you're like casting a shadow from your dancing lights, or multiple of them from your multiple globes. And Arlen's casting a shadow. The Duke is not. No matter how you angle your dancing lights, there's no shadow on him. You do know how to close the wound, though. With your heal checks, you need to get rid of the curse that is keeping the wound from healing.
So he looks, yeah. This wound is cursed. Once that curse has been lifted, then the wound will heal properly. However, there's something else affecting the Duke. He's
I
not.
have already tried a remove curse. It did not work.
We need to try over and over and over and over until it is done. My healing worked a little bit, but the curse. Your eyes. I'll try it again. He's going to do a Nimbus and bring more light in here.
Okay, there are a bunch of soldiers that are bringing torches.
What if we took him out into the sun?
He does not seem to enjoy it, says Duncan.
I don't think it's him.
He does not seem to enjoy it, or the darkness doesn't seem to enjoy it.
Bring him into the sun.
The Archbishop seems to have the.
Is there any
final
holy
say into
ground?
this.
Is there any holy ground here?
Yes,
That will help.
We could bring him to the. We could bring him to the temple, the five-faced god in the palace. It is a very bright place.
Let's right there.
Okay. Pretty soon you are half carrying, half wheeling Duke Drago Corda into a temple of the five-faced god, which we'll say is here. Temple of five-faced god. Bringing him into holy ground doesn't seem to bother him. Bringing him into the light, however, he seems to want to shield his eyes from the light and kind of curl up.
Let him.
He kind of hisses at the he hisses at the daylight, like like it's hurting his eyes.
Has he drank or eaten anything? When's the last time he drank or ate?
We have been feeding him water. It has been several days now for food. A man of his strength and vigor can survive that long.
Does Arlen know anything about using IVs?
No.
But all right. I wouldn't expect he would. All right.
In the
So-
1800s, we were still putting milk into our veins, thinking that was a good idea. That was what they used to give soldiers when they had a wound, was milk, because they wouldn't die 10% of the time less.
Let's just wash our hands to start off with. First,
Imagine
our
how
hands and
barbarous we're gonna seem
appear
like
to,
100, 200 years from now.
yeah.
Assuming
we survive.
You did what
Assuming
to people
progress.
with tumors?
Yeah,
Dear
exactly.
God.
All right.
destroyed
so
their
let's-
cells.
Started them with radiation. You killed all their bone marrow because something was wrong. You thought that was a good idea.
When this is actually a sad story, and how every technological advance has its price in human lives. When they invented X-rays, they used to have X-rays for a short period of time in shoe stores. They would X-ray your foot to see what size of foot you had, as like a gimmick.
So they also were at they would do X-rays at carnivals. Like you could get an X-ray of your of your hand or your face or whatever to be like, hey, look, I have this thing, I can see my bones.
So apparently the shoe salesman, these people ended up dying of cancer because they were around this like unshielded naked X-ray machine constantly.
But for some reason, I suspect there was no difference in the death rates of carnies.
Weird. Anyways, I don't know how long that, but I read that somewhere a long time ago.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, there's also the first glow in the dark or illuminated not just watches but dials in aircraft. They were all hand inked. Like you'd hand ink the watch faces and the dial faces for the instrument clusters. And the way artists, even now, the way they straighten the tips of their brushes, they typically lick the brush. So a whole bunch of like lip and gum cancers and issues of the people using the radioactive material that makes the glow in the dark watch faces back in the day. So during like World War II era, just horrible death rates for those guys.
Which makes you wonder all the things you have in your house right now, which won't be there in 20 years. It's like, oops.
What do you mean the radiation box that I put beside my balls all day?
Right, exactly. Well, it's only bad if you live more than 60 years.
There used to be a building on the compound I work on that after a bunch of guys got sick, it was determined by the Ministry of Labor that anyone who's worked as much as an 8-hour shift in that building was entitled to disability for the rest of their life.
Which building?
I was like, can I get in there?
I'm not. It's condemned now.
Good.
He
yeah,
looks.
Lucas, removing the curse with the because it'll be a cast level check versus the shadow magic, and then there'll be the DC of the curse itself. The thing is, if that shadow magic part of it adds the DC of the curse, then you might get beyond the limits of any epic caster.
That's what heroic fortune is for.
Yes. And I know
Yes,
Widget is Damian's favorite little man. When he's got the shadow weave magic feat, he'll be able to cast a shadow remove curse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the ultimate solution, is actually having shadow magic. Oh yeah, I can fix that.
Oh, can't remove the curse using shadowy magic. Also, Arlen, fuck you, I did it when you weren't looking! I read the book.
Do what you gotta do.
Using the iron stone for fun.
You do what you gotta do, man. I understand.
Well, Marty's gone in and grabbed another soda.
The Cradle of Shadow, or whatever this thing is, the birthplace of shadows, or the fucking.
That sounds like. I don't know why, but
fun.
I'm just picturing a shadowy version of the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones, where people's faces are melting.
I'm gonna get a sandwich while we're doing this.
So I was actually envisioning the what are they called? The creators or the builders in the Aliens universe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was imagining
That's
like
kinda
a big friggin' Xena whatever looking pod.
The shadow face huggers.
No! My shadow's trying to kill me. My shadow is literally mouth sexing me. Fox. Arlen was being a bit zealotous around the shadow items. We open up the treasure chest. It contains light objects and shadow objects, and obviously the light objects were all pure good, and the shadow objects are evil and should not be touched.
That's not the game we're playing, though.
Sorry about that. Could run to the washroom and
The game we're playing is what is good for me.
Prometheus, yeah.
Yeah.
We were just describing what the Cradle of Shadow would look like in our heads. Mark was voting for Ark of the Covenant, and I was voting for the creator's pod from Prometheus.
Well, he described to Damian that they, whoever they were, laid him inside of it like he was a babe.
Well, you can shove him inside the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, he'd fit.
Yeah.
You'd have to be you have to be in the fetal position, so that'd be kind of like a babe.
Mm-hmm.
The Promethean chamber is a little bit big. He would have to lay down there like a babe. He could just stretch out.
I'm eating all the broken Swedish fish first.
Just keep it the genetics of the Swedish kid.
It's all the broken bits of them.
You don't have a tail.
They didn't swim very well.
Adding hit dice to a caster doesn't actually give them a higher caster level, right?
No. If you're monstrous. Yeah. Although there is a template that they establish later on where you can make something spell casting. But
I was just hoping inspire greatness.
Inspire heroics, I think it is, or
no, greatness for the hit dice.
Yeah.
But we did allow practice spellcaster to be a thing.
So if you took practice spellcaster and then you got effective hit dice,
then it would work. Yes.
Yeah, but we're also capping things at character level, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's quite a feat for that one particular situation. Seems like
spell penetration and caster level checks are important. How powerful your spell is to be dispelled, that is also important. All right, Arlen, what are you doing? You look like there's a wound. It's a 20 hit point wound. It is cursed, but there's something that's keeping your detect magic from working. Also, the Duke is not casting shadow. His eyes are swirling with black, like there's something, like maybe his shadow is in his eyes. His eyes are not completely black. They're just sort of swirls in his white.
You're muted.
Sorry, I
Are
muted myself.
you casting any spells
Is
now?
the Custodian here? Was what I asked.
No. The group that is here are the tokens on that board.
Okay. I am casting a bunch of things that are light related. He's casting daylight on like a thing on the wall.
Okay, it's very bright in the room now.
He's casting bless.
Okay, give me a caster level check.
$21.
The magic does not affect the Duke.
He's casting. He's gonna do his Nimbus and his channel,
Yep.
and then I'm gonna cast remove curse.
Okay.
Now, Damian.
Okay, Damian casts Heroic Fortune on Arlen.
Oh.
Okay.
For a moment, things
Plus-
slow down as you were saying your words of power, and your accents are subtly different every time you cast a spell, and you are choosing the right path to take. Like this is really powerful magic that Damian has just cast upon you. You're trying to remove the curse that is on his belly. Is that what you're touching? And
Remove the curse on his wound,
okay.
and then we don't know what else is in him or on him or whatever, so we'll have to deal with that afterwards.
Give me a caster level check. And you can roll twice if you burn your hero point. No, you roll with a +8.
Get a +8.
Are you burning your hero point?
Yeah. This is to remove the. This is my caster level check to remove the curse, correct?
No, this is the caster level check
Oh.
to see if the remove curse spell actually touches him. Then you roll to remove the curse.
Oh, to see if it goes through.
It's
Yeah.
like an SR check.
Oh, sorry.
It's like
okay.
an SR
there's-
check.
Okay, got it.
Which one are
yes,
you using the +8 for? Are you using it for
This one.
Okay.
Can I say to Damian, do it again at some point? I'll do it now, and I'll ask him to do
You
it
can't
again.
spend more than 1 hero point per round. You have to spend
That's right.
one thing, I think.
But I'm. Oh.
Caster level of which dude?
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Okay,
It doesn't-
so
it washes
your
over.
a remove curse kind of crackled away as you were trying to push it into the curse of the wound, and something else made your spell dissipate. You didn't even get to combat the curse on his wound. The spell flaked away across your hand. I see that you and I have the same problem, says the Archbishop.
Yeah, I will have to return tomorrow. I'll prepare many more remove curses.
As will I, says the Archbishop, like it's
Excellent.
like it's a competition.
Yeah, I don't have. Damian, could you do that one more time?
Yes, of course.
I'm gonna try to dispel magic on him.
Okay.
Damian casts Heroic Fortune
Something
on
else worked to stop my magic.
Yep.
There has to be something that's dispelling magic. I would like to try to dispel the dispel. If that makes sense to Arlen.
Sure. Okay,
You're
your dispel magic. While the magic itself it nullifies other magic, it was like the entire spell got burned away before it got to do its thing. The same sort of crackling of magic,
Right.
the sound of grating styrofoam against styrofoam. You know, there's one sound that lightsabers make when they're kind of grating against each other. That styrofoamy sound. Yeah, that happens, and then the magic just sort of like leeches away. Its essence is gone, and you're pretty sure that your dispel magic never got off.
So I want to see knowledge arcana. Like I'm testing. I'm throwing spells to see what. Like I want to test.
Yeah, give me a knowledge arcana. You can have a plus. You've tried 4 different things. You can have a +8 to your roll.
I'll auto aid.
Okay.
The other casters in the room might be making their own checks.
26. What's going on?
Okay. This is much more dire than just simple shadow magic.
This is not shadow magic. It is, but it's something much more.
This is a curse on this level. And I've given you a bunch of...
What if we had the cradle itself, the thing that caused this wound?
Yes, says Duncan in a much quieter voice. If this thing that absorbs magic is a curse from an item or an artifact.
Indeed, this is an artifact.
There are precedents that destroying such a thing, or at least learning how to use it, can undo.
And it's settled.
The Duke is... The crypt is not yours to plunder. Ah, yes. The original reason why we went to the crypt, aside from it being a possible place where shadow magic may...
Whose is it to plunder?
Mine, says the Duke.
Who are you?
Drago.
Who is Drago?
Cora. He's struggling. He's struggling to get up out of bed, like with the
Knowledge planes?
in check DC 4. It's his name.
Oh wait,
Who
sorry.
are you? Oh man!
Oh, sorry.
No, Mr. Son.
Who is
Who are you?
Ahmed Hassan?
No, it's not. That's not. The
You're
point.
embarrassing me in front of the other humans.
The
I
Duke would not-
sorry, we're making
Arlen-
fun of you a little bit. I
No, it's
get
fine.
that Arlen thinks that there's something else in him, is what
Yes.
you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
Exorcist moment.
Yep. He's claiming that he's Duke Corda.
What does the Duke rule over?
Vaddapol. I rule Vaddapol. And I also have rights over that crypt and what is inside.
Duncan nods.
Actually, if we can get a writ from the mage of Vaddapol, we can legally plunder that crypt. Not
Do
that
it.
Damian knows who the mage is, the Grand Mage is. But...
I doubt you're going to get much out of... And Duncan may not know what has transpired. I doubt you're going to get much from Vaddapol, but he is right. He has secured the rights to plunder the artifacts, if any, that are inside of the old Duke's tomb.
Then we do it
Fine.
on his behalf.
Yes. The Duke is struggling through pain.
Your lordship, please rest.
Contest.
Whatever we find will be yours.
Make it a contest. The winner of this season and games gets to go.
You really want to wait? You really want to wait for the end of the season for this?
Arlen turns to the Archbishop. I'll prepare the spells that I can for tomorrow. I hope we succeed, but this magic is very, very strong. We need that item.
They will go in my stead and find the Shadow Cradle. I'm glad I'm not fighting
How
in
long
any games.
till the end?
How long to the
How
end?
long till the end?
It's in 10 days.
Like a week.
Like it starts in 5 days.
Are we registered for that shit?
No?
Talk about the season end games of Vaddapol.
Oh, Magnus.
You need to beat Magnus.
What do you mean I'm going to some crypt? What kind of bullshit is this? One to another.
Arlen, you're gonna have to summon back your Ludus.
Be so.
Duncan is whispering loudly, like having a loud argument with the Archbishop. Duncan wants to follow the Duke's commands. The Archbishop is saying that the Duke does not look like he's in his full faculty. Duncan says that the Duke has exclusive rights over raiding a former Duke of Tebronia's tomb, as Tebron has become a protectorate no longer with the Duke, and he's the closest Duke to that place, and has already secured the rights to what is inside. So they're arguing whether or not to follow his orders or not.
Damian, I don't think my presence is required here anymore. I think I should be leaving, if that makes sense to you.
Sure.
The Duke is looking at Arlen, and like there's a lot of pain on his face, but there's something about the way he's looking at Arlen and watching him wheel out of the room that is disconcerting.
Sense
motive.
Sense motif.
Yes.
I got a 33.
He doesn't like Arlen.
19.
No, sorry, 19. He doesn't like you. 33. He's coming to the conclusion, like he's having a conversation in his head, like, you know, kind of summarizing something, or perhaps an actual conversation, as he's coming to a conclusion while watching Arlen.
Okay, yeah.
The stutters a lot come that evening.
Oh, you guys are just leaving?
I've got nothing else for tonight.
Duncan stops Arlen for a moment. This is a ridiculous order. But your magic seemed to do more than... It seemed to reveal much this day, is what Duncan says. We will try to get to the Duke to rescind, or we could pretend we did not hear. I heard, says the Archbishop. Let some heathens sacrifice themselves in this tomb. Cursed with this sort of magic. It is a Duke of the Empire that you speak of, not of my protectorate, it is not.
It is still a Duke.
Yes, and I shall prepare as many spells as I can, and cast them as many times as necessary. The five-faced god will solve this problem, not some heathen's tomb.
Oh, he looks at the Archbishop. Oh, I never thought it was a problem with the five-faced god.
Arlen just puts his head down.
The Duke was not heathen, although the Duke was... Oh, I think that Duke was in trouble. He did not have the graces near the end of his reign of the clergy, if I remember my history correct. He delved into things that were anathema. He delved into things of the enemy. And your Duke's love of heathens brought him to that place. We were chasing enemies there. Well, all the more reason to be cautious, but clearly, if he arranged, while fighting his war, to treasure gather and to plunder as opposed to protecting the North.
Mind your words, Archbishop. Slander carries with it a terrible penalty at times.
Observations I am making.
No, suppositions are what you're making. Rumors are what you're spreading. I only say this to protect you from the consequences.
Arlen's starting to wheel himself out of the room. Just
No, Damian's
backing
not
away
letting you go.
very slowly.
Damian's not letting you go. He's got your wheelchair. You're not going nowhere.
I think there's a grapple check with a -2 for Damian for Arlen being partially prone. I guess you're not fighting that bad.
No, I was like, okay, we're staying for this.
If I hear any more slander being written down in little letters, we'll find creative ways of making sure that you cannot write a letter ever again. The Archbishop is leaving after that.
Oh, I'll go to court with anything. Believe me.
Well, he only gets a 25 on his intimidate, which I still think. Yeah, having a powerful man's ire like that is probably not a good idea.
5 talents. 5 as he's walking away.
Okay, the Archbishop pauses for a moment. He kind of looks over his shoulder back towards that. Duncan is just rubbing his temples as much as his skull cap allows.
Excuse me, High Mage. Just looking at Duncan.
What is Duncan's title, actually?
It is Chief War Wizard.
My apologies, Chief War Wizard. I'm not sure if you're able to use the spell or not. It may lead us to some knowledge that we may be missing. If you have any tools that would allow someone to use something called true seeing, will be quite valuable to see what is behind those eyes. The Duke is speaking, but I fear it is not the Duke.
Okay, he closes the door so the Duke can't hear. I shall prepare such spell tomorrow.
I will prepare as many as I can for tomorrow as well.
He looks at Damian. He glances down the hallway where the priest disappeared. He doesn't share his opinion of what happened between Damian and the Archbishop, although there was concern there. The concern wasn't necessarily for you.
If his condition worsens at all, please do not hesitate. I will be available for the
Yes, it has been a long and trying day.
But there was some progress. We learned things.
Inches. It is a war of inches. Glances back towards the door.
Perhaps it's like a stubborn slave. You just keep beating it until it does what you want.
Duncan's kind of had enough of Damian at this point and just stalks off.
Yeah.
He leaves the commander in charge. He tells no one in or out. Any change, any noises or change in his condition, let him know. And commander looks glum, sets his guard. There are a few other of his guards there. Arlen, it's been some time since you've seen so many guns.
Yeah.
Pew pew pew.
Long day, Damian. Your spells are quite powerful.
Oh, that's a little thing I learned not so long ago.
There's also something I want to share with you that I also learned not too long ago.
And what might that be?
Let's discuss that in our room.
Your room, sure.
The dark room.
Oh, that place, yes.
See, you get back there. There's Ugg, Edward, Godiva, and Sam, all eating and drinking and playing cards in.
So I told him, yeah, go ahead and piss on me.
Did he?
No, he's just an elf. He's afraid to pull it out. He knows it's not me.
I guess Mr. Prancy Pants would be there as well.
Yeah, Mr. Prancy Pants is out and playing.
Okay. Is he smart enough to play cards?
No. Oh, yes, but not very well.
Okay, so you're playing something
7.
simple like hearts or something like that. Go fish, he's chewing on the cards. It appears that it is Mr. Prancy Pants' turn. Well played. Does he poop?
Oh, yes, but it's like rainbow marshmallows. It's delicious.
I am not too sure what this mallow of marsh is, but it sounds pleasant, maybe.
You just said it was shit.
Marshmallow sounds it's like meadow muffin, maybe.
Yeah, meadow muffins don't taste good. Those are not really.
I said pleasant. They did not say it tastes good. Does everything pleasant go into your mouth? Are you eating the flowers behind you?
No.
No, Mr. Prancy Pants, put the flowers down. Put them down.
Okay.
Arlen's migraine increases after hearing this
Well,
conversation.
no. Arlen and Damian walk into the spell ensorcelled private room and don't hear all of this until you're inside the room.
Oh, they're
Damian
inside the room?
stops
Yeah,
for a
this
second.
is Edward and Widget's room, and apparently Edward invited Godiva back to play cards with everyone.
Yep.
Okay.
He's
Damien
dressed,
stops
by the
for a
way, at
second,
this
looking
point.
at this strange creature,
Evening,
and then he looks at
everyone.
Arlen and goes, "Why?"
That's a second thing we'll talk about. I'm sorry to bother all of you. Could Damian and I please have the room? What's up?
So
Did you fight another
are
fish?
the disciple of Rose, because the disciple of Rose is also from the shiny guy. So you should find the disciple of Rose, of Arose,
The
of Amrose,
disciple of-
Amrose, the Rose, Abrose. It's like an exercise. You do rows for your abs. You have to find the disciple of Abrose because he's the light guy. But he did the thing, but it was a Pyrrhic victory. But it's okay.
He starts
because
rubbing his earlobes.
The guy's dick.
I'll do that, Sam. I'll do that. Thank you
I
for...
understand the words that come from your man's mouth, but not what he's saying.
Although
It's
I
a
did make
riddle
a
in
girl
itself.
cry, and I didn't mean to do that. But that's because her uncle, you know.
Sure. Let's
It
discuss
is an
that
interesting tale. I do not understand much of it, but it pieces together over time, or you just forget.
later. If
No. The old elf general guy was talking about the disciple of Abrose, and that you should look up the disciple of Abrose because he's like you.
disciple of Abaros, I shall.
It appears that Godiva won this hand. Let's take this card game to
Yeah, she only won because Prissy Pants keeps just giving her the cards.
I don't know what you're talking about. So I won this hand. What do I take off?
He's
Starts
collecting
undoing it.
sevens, and he just flushed a 7 because you needed a 7.
You just put one of the chits in the middle.
Oh, it's that kind of game. All right, fine.
Ug's looking
Next
confused.
time we play by my rules.
They take the game to Sam's suite, leaving Damian and Arlen
I feel like the
alone.
other rules. If they can see your dick, you lost.
Says you.
They're always winners. Okay.
Thanks, Marty. Sam punches the shadow wound into submission.
Get better.
Knock out the blow.
Well, he's not in
Damian.
pain any longer.
Damian,
Yes.
there was something that we kept from you, and I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think it's only fair to discuss it with you. On the basis that you are here to serve the Countess, and aiding us aids the Countess. Not
Yes.
aiding. So I apologize for not having shared this with you earlier, but you will understand why I did not once you learn of it. There's a big part of me that tells me it's not a good idea to share this with you. However, there's another part that tells me I must trust you because you are with
Arlen.
us.
Sir Spittles would have spit it out by now. What is it?
I am an elf after all. I had 15 more minutes of explanation before I got to the point. But if you want me to get to it, fine, I will. The Empire has been lying to all of the followers of all of the other religions that are not of the Five-Faced God.
What do you mean?
The blood tax.
What about it?
You understand that we fight in the gladiatorial arena.
Yes,
We lose our lives, and we get the chance to.
I'm familiar
continue
with the
to
concept of the blood tax. Yes, what of it?
The blood tax is a lie. The souls are no longer going to the gods. The Imperium has been putting artifacts in the grounds around the gladiatorial arenas that have been sucking the souls of all that die around them.
Really?
Souls of-
And
this-
he's gonna make a bluff check now because he already had an inkling of that?
Okay. Also, give me a knowledge religion or a profession lawyer
I will go with profession lawyer.
or arbiter or whatever we called it.
Yeah. Alright.
It's not called knob end. Pretty sure it's profession knob end.
Dickwad.
Got a 26 on his profession.
The blood tax is freedom of worship. It allows people to go to designated places where old gods can be worshipped. It allows them to hold on to and carry holy symbols of their old gods. It even allows priests to cast those god spells. You are not allowed to spread your religion through active proselytization. You are not allowed to spread the word of your religion through print.
Okay.
It's very specific because you know that the Five-Faced God, the church, they have this wondrous device called the printing press. And are able to mass produce holy texts, whereas the other religions require monks to write them. It doesn't say anything about what did Arlen share? The souls are not. What was the thing?
Bring the souls of fallen gladiators.
The souls, yeah, the soul. So what I said was the souls of the gladiators do not get to return to their gods.
Okay, there's no such wording about people's souls in the agreement for the blood tax.
Okay.
If you were to legally, I'm not sure if Damian brings that up, but from a legal standpoint, there could be law as written versus law as intended,
Yes.
and that would be
Damien-
it would be a fun court case to argue.
In his head, it's a fun court case. It's not one he wants to go to trial with.
You notice, Arlen, that Damian seems to be lost in thought for a moment. Sorry,
It's probably a lot for you to take in right now, but we learned of this.
This is quite shocking. And he gets a 36 on his bluff check.
Sure.
Because he's
I
seen a big
can't,
box in an arena sucking souls.
I've seen.
right.
I can't do that. Sense motive, yeah. No, even on a 20, I can't do it.
Right, and he made his will save against the Imperial Magi who tried to erase the memory.
Yeah.
When he tried to erase your memories. Yep. Okay.
Well then.
So you see, we all feel betrayed. Quite betrayed. And afraid of battling in the arena. Afraid of battling in the arena or anywhere near a large city. The fear of having your soul lost. If you remember speaking with Sam, when he died, his soul was roaming.
So I take it he did not die in a large city then?
No, he did not. Dwarven hole or something.
Oh, that's...
So you understand why I did not share this with you. We were apprehensive of sharing this with you. But you're also with us. So I needed you to be aware of what it is that we face. From what I understand, it only affects those that do not follow the Five-Faced God.
Perhaps not. There's not that many gladiators that follow the Five-Faced God, to be honest.
So from what we understand, these things feed on souls or use the souls somehow. We don't know how, but what we know is if you die near a city or in an arena, you are not going to your god. Or why, as the DM would ask me. The gods are not receiving our blessings. They're not receiving the souls. This is...
Well,
I do not know of another way, of any other way that would be another fate that would be worse than that. Why is my throat so? Why is my voice so deep? I do not know of another way, another fate that would be worse than what this is.
well, they say hell's pretty terrible. But
Marty, what are you reading? What are you reading? The number at the bottom of the page from?
So this is what
Page
this
number,
is what I've been...
none of your business. Your fucking business.
Page number. Go
Page number, DM's prerogative.
Page number. Go create a new character.
Sam dies
So
of a heart attack.
That Damian is what I wanted to share with you.
well, I thank you for having faith in me.
And of course,
That's
I
good to
understand
know.
that you understand that if you share this information with anyone, it would be very harmful to us, which would be very harmful to the Countess. It would negatively impact the Countess. So I trust in you that you would not do that.
I suspect it would be very bad for me if others knew that I knew this. Still, I appreciate appreciate your candor and your faith in me. I am going to get a drink.
Please don't get too drunk. I'll be in my room.
I will see you in the morrow, ready with some spells, as you should be.
Jervis? Where's he? All I'm gonna do with Marty Jervis, all I'm gonna do with Jervis Marty is try to do just like look at his throat, listen to him speak, try to say a couple of words, and figure out what's wrong with him. Let's get a better heal check on him, really.
Okay. Give me a diplomacy check.
$37.
A heal spell will get rid of it.
On him?
Yep. It is some sort of mental trauma condition that he has.
Could you find out for me how much it would cost to purchase a heal scroll?
I can ask around, I suppose.
We did have you down for shopping, so you...
Yeah, that can be... I'm looking for the flying carpet, goddammit!
Okay, how much is a flying carpet?
That's a very good question.
I think it depends on the size, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Flying carpet. Yes. Flying carpet. At Amazon. Nope.
I think, can't you get boots of flying? Oh, wait, sorry.
Mittens of flying.
What a dick. I mean,
that
a
is
5x5
expensive.
Yeah, 5x5. It's flight, man. 5x5 carpet is 20 grand. A 5x10 carpet is 35 grand, and a 10x10 carpet is 60 grand.
So just to be clear, we made a bunch of money to win gladiator fights, and you're gonna buy a flying carpet instead of say gear.
So,
for the
so you
gladiators?
visit the elven market, which we'll put on the palace. This is one way to build a town: is as you need things, you tell them.
Create them.
So elven market will be, I don't know. It looks like it needs to be outdoors. It'll be in this building. Elven market. And you request to see. I heard about these flying carpets, and they have one of them one of them that they can show you, which is the 5x5, and they can supply to you within 10-day period a 5x10 or a 10x10 carpet. They also share a story that there was an ancient elf that had a massive flying carpet, but they're not too sure what happened to it. It was like a 20-foot radius flying rug.
It was like a flying town.
Right.
Awesome.
Flying Hoda or whatever.
That's
cool.
Awesome.
They joked about it, and they tell you no, unfortunately, they don't have anything that grand. And if they did, they could all retire if they sold it, and they have a good chuckle.
I appreciate that. How about just a scroll of heal then? How much would that cost?
You want scrolls?
He's actually gonna, yeah.
Don't you have the money for a flying carpet?
I do, but I'd rather get the guys some gear. I can cast fly.
You're in a place where you have a token of fly.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay, with various taxes, a scroll of heal will cost you 1,800 gold.
Okay, Arlen will buy that.
Okay, they will have it delivered to your quarters in a day.
Okay.
Why don't you buy 2?
Actually, that's a good point.
Ask for fucking 2 or 3. These are just like, they're useful things to have.
3. How many do they have?
They only have one available. They will have to craft additional ones, which will take an additional day per.
Buy them a pen.
With the crafting fee, there'll be two talents apiece.
Okay, I'll take 5. So 10 talents.
Okay. They are happy to accept your money, and we'll put a priest to work.
All right, priest scribbles. Start penning.
Go. All right, so you buy a whack of heal scrolls, which are all 11th level. Okay, that was Arlen doing shopping. He's like, I really want the Lamborghini.
They have Marty. They have one available.
Yeah, they give you the one that's available.
I find Jervis and I cast it on him.
Okay, so you find Jervis. He's like marching down the hallway. you cast a heal and reach out and touch him.
I bring him in. I talk with him and say like, all right, I think believe I can help you with something if you'll allow me.
He doesn't know what you mean right away.
And this is a scroll of heal.
His eyes grow wide.
Would you allow me to cast this on you?
He nods eagerly.
Arlen casts it. Great. Now I do this without any spell failure, right?
1d20 plus caster level versus 11. Or versus, yeah.
There is a chance you fail. The level of the scroll is higher than you.
Oh. Alright, let's try it. We're rich!
I think the DC is 12.
There you go.
There we goes.
Okay. You feel the magic course through you. You touch Jervis. He glows for a brief moment. You do notice that his head glows. And he stumbles back from it. What happened?
Are you feeling all right?
I could speak.
There you go.
It's gone. It's gone. He does a little like a little jig dance, kind of right in his spot, and then he hugs you. You've done me a great kindness, my friend. It has been with me for a very long time.
Not to worry. Not to worry. I'm glad you're well. Light guide you.
I will be able to study spells again.
Good. Put them to good use. Fight the shadows.
I have so much work to do. Yes.
I can retrain the silent spell feat.
Okay, he thanks you, and you have a...
I'll put the 4 scrolls under Arlen's sheet. You should let me know when they show up.
You have an ally. It's interesting that they've never done this.
Yep. Well, it'll be. We come back to next day.
Oh, God damn it, Jervis.
It's one of those things where they did it to me before. I'm just mentally weak, and it refractured the old wound, or what have you, whatever it caused it in the first place.
Curse, yeah.
Yep, we'll find out.
Arlen
gets cursed.
Arlen feels good about his.
Arlen's thinking these heal scrolls would work on the they work on the Duke?
They are higher level caster than you.
But it's cast at the lowest level, isn't it? It would be just 11.
Yeah, they are level 11 scrolls.
You could buy healing of a higher caster level, like a wand of like caster level 20 Cure Light Wound wand or some nonsense.
That would assume that there is a 20th level caster making those wands. Those would be harder to find.
Right. I mean, if he's along that line of thinking.
Yep.
I'm done for the day.
All right.
Dragged on too long. Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. I think we're at the end of the week, and I'm going to delay the random chance. The random event was the Duke saying that the rights to plunder an ancient crypt of a former Duke of a northern territory would go to the winner. I think that affects all gladiators everywhere. Week 35. Radimer, Damian, Zita, Evander, Kaid, and Rene are all training in Belheim. This is the same week that Grizak is training, Giant Nibbles is training, and Widget is studying from the Shadow Book, which will take 5 days to do.
So training.
Yep.
Basically.
This means that your party has spent, if they want to train in that one day, Damian is also finishing his training. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Windows bar doesn't work anymore. Give me a calculator.
Oh.
1,800 times 7. You guys spend 13 talents in training.
13 talents in training.
Do the Doomsday folks have that much money?
Kaid doesn't. Hell no. Kaid broke, baby.
So, do the Doomsday people have that much in money? The answer to that is basically no.
No, they don't.
Do they have that much in terms of wealth? We've got 5.
Zita's got 6,000.
So there's 5,000 in treasure, more. So we've got here. Let's figure this out. We've got 2,080 plus. That's 3,000 plus 245. Plus,
Zita's got 6 grand too. She can dole out.
Equals. So there's 6,400 and something in the loot that is like liquid. You said there was 6,000 Zita. Zita has 6,000.
Yep.
Okay. Rene has not that much. Rene's got 500. How much? It was 13,000 we needed?
Yeah. 12,600.
Yeah. So we can pay for it.
Okay. Just erase the money. I know a lot of these characters have just been introduced. We can represent this being the end lessons of ongoing training. But just get rid of the money, and that's good.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we needed this. We needed the 6,000.
Done. It's gone.
Okay.
Guys, we're tight for money.
And does that mean some of the treasure is gone, like the gemstones and coins?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only one that's left is the
weird chalice.
The weird chalice.
Okay. All right.
Just because it doesn't look like something.
Hey guys, remember Arlen said if you need anything, go back to him. We can just teleport back to that short bastard and get some money out of him.
So,
He's not really short, he's just stubby.
For 5 days, Radimer spends some time poring over books quietly in the Chevalier Manor, formerly known as the Hunkley Manor. Zita and Evander do a bit of swordplay training. Zita pores over some books that are in the library that Rene has. There are a lot of books that have actually been written by Rene about the stars and about the moon. But he has a small library. Unfortunately, when Zita and Evander go to the Caretaker's Manor, which is their manor, I guess, the Zane Manor, the place seems to be very empty and not a lot of furniture, but the building has survived. Like, you could move your stuff here. There is enough room for both you, Evander, and a small army of guards and servants to live in this place.
That's good, because I've got the leadership feat.
Yeah, you could revitalize the town with the leadership feat. That's awesome. Hey,
Yes.
You know this town? Yeah? Everyone here loves me.
Call it Emo Town.
Can I live in this house? Do you love me or not? Oh, it's like cult town. That's hilarious. You have leadership feat?
I have the leadership feat. Yes.
Okay, if you start to plant roots, they're the people, they will come. Kaid spends time training with what's her name?
Callie.
Okay.
They train with Evander a little bit as well. Grizak spends a lot of time in his blasphemous druid henge turned into a stone hut. He doesn't get hit by lightning, although lightning does strike the lightning rod once while you were there, and you managed to run up to the lightning rod and touch it and feel the warmth. Giant Nibbles also trains in the town by just wandering around and breaking stuff. And practicing his swordplay and reliving the battle against the big brass golem.
That's actually perfect training, given that he's taken the improved Sunder feat and the Smasher Rage Power.
just leveling anything that isn't standing. His companions tell him not to knock over like the shrine, the few remaining walls of the smithy. The old gnome's house, they say leave alone. The graveyard, please don't disturb the graves, and then the two manors that are still there. But aside from that, Nibbles Smash. Is there anything specific that Radimer, Zita, Evander, Kaid, Rene, Widget want to do while they're in Belheim?
I think Widget wants to make armor and sword.
Well, I think Widget is learning how to cast shadow magic.
Widget's learning shadowy
Yes.
magic, and if we
Rene is the one that's doing that.
Rene would be the one making the armor, and then it'd be like if we could get the next week, we can get both of those two things crafted. So
Okay, the next week is the season end games, so I don't know if
we probably don't get it crafted.
yeah, I don't know how that's working.
Neither do I.
Let's go to where everyone is.
I was Mark. I'd be salty.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Well, doesn't get to fight at the season end games. That's for damn sure.
There's the group that is at Belheim. Widget. So, is there anything specific you want to do with these characters, or a specific conversation?
Rene's a lonely old man, so that's okay. The learning the shadow weave magic, his spellbook is still the same, right? Like he still preps normal spells and.
No, Widget learns that this book is powerful enough that you can. That your spellbook, or any spellbook that you've penned, as part of a ritual, will change into the shadow magic versions.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to learn new spells,
You can learn them from non-shadow sources. The spellcraft might be a little bit higher, and the way that you pen them is you pen them into shadow magic form.
okay.
But Dracia Umbravilda had the foresight to know that wizards would have otherwise taken a long time to rebuild their spellbooks.
Cool.
And that you are giving up a bit of yourself to her to do so. So you have a choice.
Which is?
Give up a bit of yourself and transform your spellbook, or start anew.
Which bit?
That you're not certain. You may be studying the book a little bit more, will reveal. This is initially when you first started delving into the book. It is almost like the words are having this woman, this creature, this Dracia Umbravilda speak to you. You could almost hear her voice in your mind. She is speaking to you like a professor that is showing you the forbidden path. And oh, what power you can get from this forbidden path. They were all wrong. All of your magic teachers, all the people that you see using magic, they closed themselves off. And she is opening up something like a flower in your mind, showing you that there is a path for even more power as an illusionist.
Mm-hmm.
And that shadow is the key.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
What the hell?
In the middle of one of these early sort of as you're like, well, how could it be? You actually hear this annoying voice begin to speak to you. It's Arlen. I'm assuming Arlen annoys Widget, and vice versa.
He did before.
Yeah.
So we'll see how.
Arlen, what do you send to him? Like, what is the gist of the sendings?
Damian wants his armor. When will it be done? And how is the research into shadow magic going?
Shadow magic, very enlightening. Research goes well. I need a week or two of dedicated time to complete the weapons and armor. The extra words there. Not traveling, not adventuring, not getting kicked out of a town. Widget.
Okay, do you continue to bother or communicate with Widget via sendings?
No, I have my other sending is to the source behind the light.
Yeah, okay, this one needs to be typed.
Hey, motherfucker! All right.
Yo, biatch!
This one is. I have.
This be Arlen magic now! Are you casting sending as a sorcerer or as a divine caster?
Caster. Divine caster.
Divine caster.
So, color spray is not a light spell. Perfect. Gloom spray.
Alright, and we're keeping track of these sending somewhere. Yes?
I am going to be putting this in party pages. We had a thing for it. It's crafting, sendings. Oh no, that was Lemmy's sendings.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll put it on at the end of.
Didn't you already send your god before?
Mm-hmm.
I did. Yeah.
Where was that tracked?
Very good question. I'm trying to remember.
All right, let's just go
Painting,
to.
No.
I would guess party. Do we have a journal tab in this one, or do we?
Crafting items.
All right, Ahmed, you've got a task to find the sending in our past episodes.
I'll do that after. So I'm gonna put this at the bottom of Arlen's sheet.
Is that a religion?
Yeah, because when you call your god, you probably should remember what was said.
I remember I did write it down, but I moved it somewhere. I'm trying to remember the hell that was. Shadow magic versus magic.
1 Anyways, this particular summoning then?
Sending.
Sending?
I would like to cast a summoning of your god. That would be
I
hilarious.
summon the god.
Do it. Do it.
In front of the Archbishop.
Well, this is one of those things of